take an idea like a windfall tax on the grotesque profits that companies are making from the growing energy crisis. These are corporations whose profits have increased sixfold in just 5 years on the back of a double windfall from rising oil and gas prices and the £9 billion worth of carbon trading permits that they were given by the government for free. Just 3 companies, BP, Centrica and Shell, together made £1,000 profit every single second over the first 6 months of this year. Now, every penny on the price of oil means a surge of cash into the bank accounts of the world's petro giants. Where does it come from? It comes from the pockets of working families, of students, the elderly, the disabled. For every 10% that the price of fuel rises, another 400,000 people are plunged into fuel poverty. Now, since I first made a call for the action against fuel profiteering on Question Time 3 months ago, people from across the Progressive Coalition have rallied in support of the idea. Now, the energy giants like to throw their hands up, market forces, global movements, nothing to do with us. And they are getting away with it because this spineless government lacks the political courage to introduce a tougher regulatory regime. But this money pulled from your pockets by the basic need to keep warm, doesn't disappear into thin air. It disappears into the wallets of the men, and yes, they are usually men, at the top of the global pyramid of injustice, whose corporations are robbing from the poor to give to the rich, and they know it. And it's about time they learned that in a progressive democracy, there is no place for robber barons. But as we face a future of accelerating climate change, the need for fresh thinking, innovative ideas, and radical action has never been more urgent. So let me say a few words about one proposal that's already just been discussed at conference, the idea of a Green New Deal. When the world faced economic depression back in the early 1930s, it was President Roosevelt's New Deal that got people back to work with a massive investment in infrastructure. Today, we stand on the brink of a triple crisis, a combination of a credit-fueled financial meltdown, accelerating climate change and soaring energy prices, underpinned by an encroaching peak in oil production. Now, those 3 overlapping challenges threaten to develop into a crisis even more severe than the Great Depression, and we need a Green New Deal in response. First, a radical transformation of the regulation of national and international financial systems, together with major changes to the taxation system. And second, a sustained programme to invest in energy conservation and renewable energies, coupled with effective demand management and reduction. A Green New Deal could provide a safe haven for savings in banks or pension funds, which would be used to kickstart a massive public and private works programme to cut energy use. The core would be a 21st century project to make the nation's buildings truly energy efficient, with local authority bonds being used to raise the necessary funds for a major investment in insulation, efficiency and renewables, creating hundreds of thousands of jobs in the process. And Greens are indeed already doing this. In Kirklees, for example, Green councillors have spearheaded an initiative to ensure that every home receives free insulation. £10 million of investment has been leveraged from the energy companies, saving the average family around £150 a year from their heating bills. And that's why the Green New Deal is one of the most hopeful ideas in British politics today, a vision of a society where people and the environment come first. I want to see a country where streets belong to people again, not cars, where public transport is clean and affordable, where shops are close to home, where kids can play outside their houses, where you don't waste your life away, stuck in traffic jams or in commuting long hours to work, where you get to spend more time with your friends and family doing the things that matter. Can we do this? Well, stranger things have happened. I never imagined when I walked into the Green Party office in Clapham for that first time back in 1986 that one day I'd become the Green Party's first leader. I never imagined when I was thrown out of Oxfordshire County Council chamber in 1994 for bringing the council into disrepute for breastfeeding that I would be addressing you here. And I never imagined that when I had my sons 12 and 15 years ago, that I'd have to fight so hard for their basic right to live in a clean, safe world. But if we believe our fight is for everyone's right to live a decent life, for the dignity of people all over the world, for the survival of the planet, then we must not, cannot, settle for the satisfaction of just being right, of being able to say, we told you so, when it all goes wrong. We are not entitled to stay on the political margins. We should look for power, win it, and use it. I stand here today as the first leader that this party has ever elected, a momentous responsibility, a symbol of how we're prepared to change not our principles, but how we put our principles into action. Yet although we're making that change, we're only halfway there. Yes, we have a leader, but now we must make that leadership work and to show that we remain distinct from the other parties. Do we want leadership like Labour, the clunking fist, the centralisation, the rooting out of any local or national democracy, placing all power in the hands of one man? And what hands they are. Brown has shown that he lacks all those qualities this country needs in a leader. And because he held all power, his fall is Labour's fall. Do we want leadership like the Tories, the PR professional, the marketing man? Politics is a fashion show. 1 month Green is in, now it seems to be out. Flying was out, now it's in. Motoring the same. A leader who is everything to everyone until election day. Then it won't be the focus groups who make policy. It will be the oil companies, the arms industry, the businesses who want to sack staff without compensation, who want to cut regulations that protect workers and the environment. Leadership for the elite. We have to show that politics doesn't have to be that way. That you can have a leader and have true democracy within the party. That you can have leadership that truly represents the values of the party and the needs of the country, not just one small section of it. Leadership that can help the party come together, to stick to its principles, not sell out in pursuit of power. Now, if we were at Brighton or Bournemouth, if this were the Labour or the Tory conference, this is where the platitudes and the empty promises would flow and the spin doctors would get to work. Well, that's not our way. So let me sum it up in plain, unvarnished words. We've had a good few months since our last conference. Our vote is up. We have more councillors. Achievements we can be proud of. But think of the responsibility that has fallen to us. The one party to tell the people of this country the truth about the future we face and the changes we need to make. To meet that responsibility, we need to work ever harder, reach out to those new members, forge new local parties, do all that we can to rally people to our banner. But to meet that responsibility, we also have to stay just as we are. Honest with ourselves and with the people, true to our principles. If I thought that the role of leader was power at all costs, a new Labour pact of selling the party's soul, I would never have stood as leader, and you would never have elected me. The Green Party has always had its leaders, thousands of them, and that is how it must stay. And so, until we meet again, lead on. Thank you.